At the quarterfinal match of National High School Basketball League, Jingxi High plays against the Shenqiang's team with a 1-point lead. With only 1 minute left, Shenqiang's ace Kai rushes quickly to score one more point for his team, but his nemesis and the star player Feng keeps blocking him. Soon, Feng steals the ball from him by making a Ronaldo-level jump in the air and scores a three-pointer after stealing the ball all by himself. Kai tries to counterattack, but Feng rushes towards the other goal and manages to block Shenqiang's player's attack. He then faces Kai, who taunts him to stop wasting his time. So Feng moves past him, and after passing through two more defenders, he dunks the basketball, which earns his team some more points. The match ends with Jingxi High as the winner of the match, and the team finally reaches the semifinals. The seniors watch as everyone gathers around the first-year Feng and celebrate with him while they wonder whether they can finally reach the top. The National League is actually the top G event, which determines the top high school team in the whole country. But soon enough, Jingxi High loses their semifinals match against Beihai School. The good-for-nothing Shangze watches everything on his tab, and soon his train drops him off in Beijing. His sister texts him that she is occupied, so he should fetch a cab by himself and arrive home. He then looks for a cab at the huge train station, and a fatso thug starts following him. The fatso tells him that his sister sent him to pick him up, but when Jingze texts his sister, she tells him that she didn't send anyone and that some bad guy must be after him. He runs away from him, and the fatso starts chasing after him. He follows him through the station and through the hordes of people. The fatso manages to grab his hand on the elevator, and a police officer warns the fat man to wear his mask properly. The fatso listens to him, but still doesn't let go of his hand. Shingze somehow manages to escape him by rushing through a crowded road and runs to the basement next. To his surprise, the fatso follows him there with his car and starts chasing him in the car. It turns out that he was actually hired by his sister to chase him, and afterwards, his sister teases him about getting abducted. He notices that there are many billboards featuring his sister Xingyu, and she reveals that she is pretty famous, although he doesn't care one bit. He asks her whether she has taken care of his school, and she assures him that he will get into Jingxi without any problem. They stop due to traffic, and Shingze notices a lonely-looking guy playing basketball by himself at a distance. He rushes towards him and tells his sister that he will be back soon. At the basketball court, he offers to play with the Sigma guy, but he gets completely ignored. Shingze then plays a basketball shot to flex his skills, and he tells the Sigma guy that he looks talented enough to be in Jingxi, so they might be teammates in future, but once again he gets ignored while the guy walks away from him. He reaches his home, and the next day, he discovers that his sister has accidentally enrolled him in Jinbei High School rather than Jingxi, which is the neighboring school. He decides to make her his sworn enemy, and soon the school staff starts training and exercising him. A fatso guy named Sama offers to play basketball with him if they can both skip training and even fake collapses to get out of training. They both then sneak into Jingxi High Court, where they notice that a Jinbei player is getting bullied by some of the Jingxi players on the court. Sima declares to play against them, and the three of them play a match against Jingxi players. One of the players claims that he is a starter on Jingxi's team and manages to stop Sima from scoring a goal. Jingze takes the ball from him and rushes through everyone. He recalls when Feng told him that fundamentals are really important in basketball, and he then scores a point. He yells at Jingxi players that he will be really disappointed if all Jingxi players are pathetic losers like him. In the past, Feng tells Shingze to stop crying like a wuss, but Shingze keeps crying because Feng is leaving. Feng advises him that he needs to get strong by practicing all the moves that he has taught him, and when he asks him how he will ever find him, Feng flexes that he won't have trouble finding him since he will be at the most brilliant basketball court in a short time. The so-called starter gets the ball in the next play and easily pushes the glasses guy before scoring on him. Shingze and Sima help him up and find the starter to be very cocky while the spectators watch them. Shingze intercepts their pass, and they try to double-team him, so he passes to Sima, who uses the power of fat to dribble past them, but the starter stops him again. He passes to Shingze, who puts the ball into the net, and the cool guy from before also appears in the crowd wearing Jingbei's uniform. The starter tries to move past Xingze, but he fails, so he passes to his teammate who passes it back, but Xingze intercepts it again. He passes to Sima, who scores, and they continue to score over and over again. A female student from Jingbei watches from the crowd while recording them and gets excited about how they'll finally have a good basketball team this year. The starter screams that he is about to go all out, like he is about to become LeBron James, but Xingze steals the ball from his hands. The ball hits the same girl who was recording them, and her phone breaks, which makes her furious. She is about to lash out on them when the instructor catches Xingze and Sima for skipping out on training to play basketball. He takes them away, and they return to school after a while. Xingze's sister continues to ignore him after her mistake, and they see a robot throwing trash into the bin from a distance. Sima complains about how Jingbei is all about academics, and no one is interested in being an athlete as there is not a single sports club. They notice girls chasing after the cool guy, and Sima says that he is the hottest topic in school right now because of how pretty and intelligent he is. Xingze tries to console him by agreeing that the cool guy isn't the most handsome guy in school, but he gets a text and he suddenly runs away. He goes on a video call with his sister and complains about the wrong school, but she tells him not to create a fuss about it because it was very hard to enroll him there. He says that he's dropping out, but warns him not to before he cuts the call. The girl from before appears and reminds him that he hit her with the ball, which broke her phone. He apologizes to her and says that it wasn't on purpose, so she tells him to pay her for the phone. He asks for a few days because he cannot ask his sister for money at the moment, but she threatens to go to his sister if he doesn't pay her back right now. He requests her to give him 3 days to pay her back, and she says that he can pay her back another way while looking him up and down. He gets creeped out, but she takes him to the basketball court and tells him to join their team if he wants to pay her back. She introduces herself as the first basketball manager of the Jingbei basketball team, Gu Liao and Sima, and the glasses guy named Wang Hao also appears to sign up for the basketball club. Xingze rejects her offer and says that he will pay her for the phone instead, so she asks him why he isn't signing up, so he reveals that he was planning to go to Jingxi. She gets angry that he mentioned Jingxi while standing in Jingbei's gym. She questions if she knows how much shame they had to suffer because of Jingxi, because they hold friendly matches every year to promote friendship, but they keep beating them. A guy appears on the first floor almost about to cry, and Sima reveals that he is their captain, named Feng. Liao says that they were equal at one point, but Jingbei moved towards academics, which led to their downfall over time, and only thanks to Feng, they were able to hold on to the 3 members from last season. Liao points toward the other 2 members, who seem to be doing homework while sitting in the gym because they find it quieter than the library. Xingze tells them to keep up the good work and is about to walk out when Liao asks him if he wants to make Jingbei great again. He tells them he will soon transfer to Jingxi, but will continue to root for them. He leaves, so she asks Sima and Wang Hao if they brought their jerseys, but they say no. She tells him that the friendly match is coming up soon, and Feng tells them that they should start practicing for it right now. The hot dude plays by himself in the basketball court where Xingze appears again and greets him, but he ignores him. He packs his bag while Xingze continues to yap about how he accidentally enrolled into Jingbei, so he asks why Xingze is telling him that. He replies that they'll be opponents soon, assuming that the hot guy will join the Jingbei basketball team, but he snatches the ball again before leaving. He goes home, where his mom tells him that she got some past papers for him that he should practice to improve his grades more. The next day, Sima and Wang Hao practice in the gym as Sima tries to help Wang Hao with his shooting. Sima tries to show him how it's done, but he misses over and over again too. He throws the ball down in anger and it hits Liao instead, so she runs after him, and another girl named Guanxin appears. Sima turns into a lover fool and says that she is the student council president, and Guanxin says that their application for the basketball team has been accepted. She asks them how the preparations for the friendly match are going, so Liao says that they have enough members, but winning would be difficult. Sima tries to flex that he won't let Jingxi gain a lead bigger than 15 points, and she says that she is looking forward to it. Liao Liao tells Sima that the smallest gap in the past few years was 32, and asks him what size clothes he wears. She makes him wear a Jingxi uniform with her to infiltrate their enemy base, but she ends up encountering Xingzhe, who is also wearing Jingxi's uniform. He reveals that he wanted to take a tour of Jingxi, so Feng lent him the uniform, so they all head in, where they see the different sports facilities of Jingxi High. Xingzhe notices a basketball player and follows him, which leads him to the gymnasium. He loses sight of the player and gets lost inside before accidentally bumping with the player. Sima and Liao Liao sneak into the gymnasium too, and they're shocked by the lavish equipment, along with the basketball court made of waxed wooden flooring, but she sees the team room, which gives her another idea. They sneak inside and she sees a number of detailed tactics on the wall, along with their game plan for the upcoming match. She notices that their game plan is focused on the solo offense of their number 9, and she states that he must be incredibly skilled if they are planning to play such a tactic centered around him. Xingzhe meets this number 9 named Deng Shuhao, which confuses him because number 9 was Cheng Feng's number, so he asks Deng if he knows Cheng Feng, but this annoys him, so he tells Xingzhe not to say his name. He asks Deng why he is wearing Cheng Feng's shirt, and Deng deduces that Xingzhe is from another college if he is asking such a question, so he tells Xingzhe to leave. He follows him into the court while insisting to be told about Cheng Feng, where the so-called starter tells everyone that he is a student from Jingbei. Xingzhe continues to question Deng about Cheng Feng, but Deng replies that Cheng Feng is just someone who can't stand to lose, and this angers Xingzhe, so he suddenly runs to the ball to interrupt Deng's shot. He challenges Deng to a match which he accepts, and people start gathering to watch the idiot who challenged their strongest player. Their match begins with Xingzhe getting the ball first, and he quickly dribbles past Deng before putting it into the bucket. Deng gets the ball next and suddenly makes a three-pointer without even taking a step, which puts him in the lead. Xingzhe tries to dribble past him in the next play, but Deng does not let him through, so they collide, and Deng manages to take the ball thanks to his large build. Xingzhe quickly runs towards the defense, but Deng just turns around and makes a bucket, which makes the score 3-1. Xingzhe desperately tries to score back, so he dribbles past Deng before trying a layup, but Deng appears out of nowhere and snatches the ball midair. He quickly dunks the ball, which brings the score to 4-1 while on the other side. Liao Liao continues to take pictures of their tactics when the Jingxi captain, Xiaohan, appears behind them. They pretend to be people from the newspaper club and lie that they were just trying to take a peek around. Another player appears and tells Xiaohan that a Jingbei player is having a one-on-one match against Deng. Xingzhe thinks about how Cheng Feng would play, and he dribbles past Deng before spinning at the end to score. Deng gets the ball, so he tries to dribble past, but Xingzhe keeps his eyes on the ball and locks him up. He tries to run forward, but bodies Xingzhe away before stepping back and taking a shot, but it gets blocked mid-air by another ball that Xiaohan throws. Xiaohan tells the Jingbei students to leave now, but Xingzhe asks him about Cheng Feng, but the mood in the gymnasium suddenly turns sour. Xiaohan tells him that he isn't on the team anymore. Deng gets angry and grabs him by the collar before revealing that Cheng Feng was kicked out of the team because he doesn't deserve to play basketball. Xingzhe loses his temper too and grabs him by the collar, so Deng mocks him for trying to use fists because he could not beat him in basketball. Liao Liao and Sima drag Xingzhe away, and Deng tells him to show his skills in the court. After coming back to Jingbei, Sima and Xingzhe talk about his match with Deng, as he tries to console Xingzhe by saying that he would have won if the match had gone till the end, and another person feels frustrated while listening to them from the bathroom stall. Xingzhe thinks about Cheng Feng, so Sima explains that they must all be envious of Cheng Feng because he was better than them, and invites him to join the team so they can beat Deng in the upcoming match. The washroom guy suddenly comes out of the stall and tells them to add him to the match too. He signs up for the basketball club, and Feng reveals that the guy named Duan has a history of always being compared to Deng, that's why he hates him. He says that Duan was a rising star during junior high due to his physique, but that changed when Deng appeared, who was just like him, but better. He reveals that Duan soon quit after realizing that Dung was much better than him at everything, but remarks that he doesn't feel like Duan is a guy to give up so easily. Xingze recalls how Dung told him to show his skills on the court and requests to be added to the team too because he wants to beat Jingxi, which makes Liao Liao extremely happy as she announces the restart of the Jingbei basketball team. Later, Xingze waits for the hot guy to arrive at the basketball court, but he does not come, so he writes on the note and places it on the bench along with some juice before leaving. The hot guy arrives after a while and reads the note in which Xingze asks him to join the basketball team so they can play together. The day of the friendly match finally arrives, and the Jingxi team reaches the court first, so they begin warming up while wondering when their opponent will arrive. The Jingbei team enters the gymnasium looking like they came to a dance battle. They come face to face with the Jingxi team, but the height difference immediately becomes apparent, so people start laughing. Xingze asks them in a very serious tone where the lockers are, so Xiaohan tells them that they came from where the lockers were, so people laugh at them more. Duan immediately bounces the ball and does a dunk, which makes everyone stop laughing at them. Liao Liao sets up a camera to live stream the whole match and starts introducing their opponents. The teams line up and they notice that Dung isn't playing. The tip-off occurs, and Duan slaps the ball away fiercely, which lands right on Liao Liao's face as she scolds him for not knowing how to take a tip-off. Jingxi gets the ball, and they use their superb teamwork along with passes to easily score a bucket. Sima passes the ball to Xingze, but Duan intercepts it instead before scoring all alone. He grabs the ball again during a rebound in the next play and runs toward the bucket all alone without passing it to anyone. He scores and continues to do a one-man play without passing it to anyone else, but he does not miss out on scoring. The Jingxi coach tells his team to pick up on defense, and their playing style immediately gets better, which prevents Duan from reaching the net, so he tries to shoot it but misses. Jingxi gets the ball and scores in a sudden reversal, but Duan still tries to move alone again, so he gets the ball stolen from him. Jingbei goes on defense as Xingze tells them what to do, so they somehow manage to lock up Jingxi. The shot clock almost runs out, so a Jingxi player tries to shoot the ball, but he misses, and the ball goes to Xingze, who speeds toward the bucket while dribbling past players before scoring. In the next few plays, Xingze controls the flow of the game with his passes and dribbles, and they continue to score every play. They manage to catch up with the first quarter almost about to end, and Xingze steals the ball, which goes to Sima. He passes it back to Xingzi, who runs toward the bucket, but passes it to Duan at the last moment, who dunks it in, and the first quarter ends with Jingbei in the lead with 1 point. Students at Jingbei talk about the ongoing match while the hot guy watches the live stream, and the team celebrates that they were able to take the first quarter. Dung finally steps into the game, and Duan immediately tries to compete against him, but he gets shut down very quickly, as he ends up committing a foul along with giving away a bucket. He fails to defend against Dung over and over again as Jingbei's scoring streak stops. To land the final blow, Dung does a dunk on Duan, which reminds him of how Dung overshadowed him in the past too. Jingbei takes a timeout with the morale at its lowest, so Liao Liao tries to revive the dead Duan by putting water on him. He says that he has already lost, but Xingze and Sima tell him how basketball is a team sport between two teams, so they will fight together. The match resumes, and Xingze steals the ball from Dung, and they manage to score, but Jingxi scores back. Jingbei's teamwork finally starts coming out as they manage to score again thanks to their passes, but time soon runs out with Jingbei behind by 17 points. Xiaohan comes up to Xingzi and tells him that Chengfeng was not kicked from the team, but instead, he transferred to another school. Xingze asks him how he can play against Jingxi again, so Dung tells him to make it to the National League if he wants to beat them. The hot guy practices at the court afterwards, where Xingze comes to express his sorrows to him. He tries to talk, but the hot guy continues to ignore him, so interrupts his practice and questions why he didn't join them in the match. He replies that he won't join the team, and says that Jingbei won't be able to face off against Jingxi again in the National League, because they are a seeded team so Jingbei needs to pass the preliminaries first if they want to face off against Jingxi. Xingzhe thinks about how he wants to face off against Jingxi again while practicing by himself on the court, and he calculates how there are a total 120 schools participating in the National High School Basket League from across the whole of Beijing. But only more than 20 schools have an actual history of basketball, so they need to at least get into the top 28 to have a chance to play against Jingxi. He thinks about how this is still just the best case scenario and that they could also end up facing a team just as strong as Jingxi in the knockout rounds, which they are not good enough yet to be able to beat. After a while, he goes to a restaurant to eat something, but he doesn't know anything on the menu, so asks for things that he knows. The owner asks him to just choose from the menu, but Xingzhe feels scared just by looking at the names of the dishes in the menu, and the restaurant owner notices this, so he asks Xingzhe if he is from the south. Xingzhe answers that he is from Shanghai, and the restaurant owner excitedly tells him to eat the fried liver stew because it's authentic Beijing cuisine. Xingzhe excitedly orders it after hearing it compliment it so much, but all his happiness disappears when the dish finally arrives. A kid next to him slurps it down and asks him if he is Xu Xingzhe, before revealing that his brother showed him a video of Xingzhe playing before. The so-called brother turns out to be the hot guy named Yunmo, which shocks Xingzhe that Yunmo is interested in him. He asks the kid many questions, but the kid makes him buy an ice cream for him. May I first? Xingzhe asks him to reveal what Yunmo said about him, but the kid tries to run away, so Xingzhe grabs him by his ponytail. The kid says that he will tell Yunmo that Xingzhe was bullying him to make Yunmo beat him, but the devil Xingzhe tells him to try. The kid notices, tells him that Yunmo is standing right there while pointing ahead, and Xingzhe does not believe it at first until he looks ahead himself. Yunmo's mother discovers the basketball that he used to play with, that he hides outside the house, and Xingzhe almost calls him out, but the kid sees the whole scene, so he uses his Sherlock Holmes ability to deduce that something must have happened. He quickly stops Xingzhe from calling him out and makes him hide behind a tree before explaining to him that something seems wrong. His mother tells him that she will respect his hobbies, but he shouldn't lie to her, so she takes the basketball inside with her. The two see the depressed Yunmo and try to cheer him up by inviting him to play basketball, but he rejects them. The kid asks him again while trying to act cute, so Yunmo reluctantly accepts to play with them. The kid goes to a few old guys to challenge them, but they don't take him seriously, so he shows them his handles, and they decide to take the challenge. Yunmo tells Xingzhe to play all by himself because he won't be playing. Xingzhe rushes toward the bucket before passing back to Yunmo, who just throws the ball to the kid, who gets blocked due to the height difference. The old guys get the ball, and they score a bucket. They try to play 2-on-1 because of Yunmo's depression, but the old guys continue to score on them. They offer to change up the teaming because it's unfair, but Xingzhe says that it's fine. He calls the kid and tells him to take a shot when he sees an opening, so in the next play, Xingzhe steals the ball before passing it to the kid. He helps the kid move around without getting chased by acting as a wall, and the kid shoots it in. He tells the kid to focus on shooting alone because he is here, which makes Yunmo recall someone saying the same thing. In the next play, Xingzhe passes it to the kid again, who shoots it in, and he scores by himself the next time, but the old guys double team him, so he passes to Yunmo, who passes it right back. The old guys steal the ball, which makes Yunmo laugh, and Xingzhe tells him to cheer up, as basketball can solve everything, which reminds Yunmo of a certain person again. In the next play, Xingzhe pulls Yunmo forward, and the kid passes to him, but the ball goes over him. It almost goes out of bounds, but Xingzhe prevents it from going outside just like how Chengfeng once did. The ball goes to Yunmo, who does a feint before making a three-pointer. Xingzhe continues to pass to him as he scores over and over again. With Yunmo back in the game, they obliterate the old guys. In the last play, Yunmo does a dunk to end the match, which surprises Xingzhe. He asks him to join the team, but Yunmo tells him that they need a coach more than him. After going back home, he finds his old middle school basketball jersey, which makes recall how his teammates used to talk about him leaving the team after he got reported over a certain incident. He finds the note that Xingzhe gave him before with his contact information, and he searches it up on the phone. At Jingbei School, One of the teachers, named Lee, requests to act as the coach for the basketball team, and even says that he will resign if his request isn't accepted. The team is called to the Math Olympiad room to meet their new coach, and Xingzhe wonders why they were called to the Olympiad room instead of the gymnasium. Teacher Lee dramatically enters the room, and Sima reveals that he is the elite maths teacher of Jingbei. He tells them that Sima is right, and starts writing down all his academic achievements on the board, so Xingzhe, Sima, and Duan use the chance to leave the room while he gives his introduction. They go to the canteen to eat some snacks, where Xingzhe complains about how they need a coach and not someone to teach them maths. They all complain about how Liao Liao told them that they'll be getting a very good coach, and the other two stop speaking as they notice Liao Liao standing behind Xingzhe, but he continues to complain, so she beats him up. Sima tries to convince her that they'll be mocked for having a maths teacher as a coach, but she doesn't listen to them and orders them to go back to the class, so they run back. They use rock, paper, scissors to choose who will confront Teacher Lee, and Xingzhe gets chosen, so they push him in. He tells Teacher Lee that they need a pro coach, not an elite teacher, so he might not be the right fit, and he leaves after saying that. After a while, one of the students from Teacher Lee's math class pushes Xingzhe against the wall before scanning his face and deducing that he's the sibling of his favorite celebrity. The guy immediately turns into a fangirl, and Liao Liao also appears. She kicks Xingzhe for being rude to Teacher Lee, but the tall guy steps in between them to stop her from hurting the brother of his favorite idol. Liao Liao notices the guy's long height and reach, so she measures him up before inviting him to the basketball team, but he instantly rejects her. She and Xingzhe immediately get an evil idea, so he tells the guy that his sister will also come to watch their matches, and he immediately decides to join the team. School finally ends, and the long guy named Gao Zhan tries to talk to Xingzhe about his sister, so he starts running away. He fails to escape his pursuit, but he sees Yunmo, so he goes to him while Gao Zhan daydreams about Xingzhe's sister. He starts complaining about how they got an elite maths teacher as a coach who isn't a right fit at all, and that it was very irresponsible of Liao Liao, because they need players like Yunmo instead of math teachers. Yunmo says that Xingzhe doesn't know if Teacher Lee is the right fit or not, as he recalls the time he saw Teacher Lee watching the NBA very passionately. Xingzhe says that passion isn't all it takes to be a coach. So, Yunmo points out that Xingzhe was also only able to reach the current point due to passion, so they can't just assume that Teacher Lee will be a bad coach. The next day, they're all supposed to do their first training session with Teacher Lee, but the group is against having him as coach. They enter the gymnasium and see new shoes for every single player, which instantly changes the opinion of many who were opposed to him being the coach. Liao Liao announces that they're all gifts by Teacher Lee, and he says that he is doing it to gain their acknowledgement because he sees himself in them. He reveals how he also used to dream about playing basketball, but the conditions in life he had wasn't suited for it. But his passion for basketball never died. He gave up playing basketball for a stable life, but they can play basketball till the end, unlike him, so he wants to take them to the highest point. He begins their training and gives all of them their new jerseys while training. A few days later, Xingzhe's sister tries to take him shopping, but he stays home because he has a match tomorrow. He thinks about how Liao Liao told them about how they are in the group of death, because 2 of the teams in their group are from the top 8. Their first match is against another team famous for their extremely aggressive style, so they need to win it if they want to advance somehow. The next day, they arrive at their first league game and start to feel the heat. Xingzhe appears on the live stream, looking all beat up because Liao Liao beat him up to do it. He makes a cringe speech, and the other team soon arrives, but Liao Liao notices that the other team's coach looks very strict. They start warming up, and 2 Jingxi players also arrive to watch them. Yunmo and his brother arrive too, and he encounters a member from the opposite team, named Xuan, who turns out to be a former acquaintance, but Yunmo ignores him. He hits Yunmo with the ball, but Xingzhe tells Xuan to back off from his friend, and the guy laughs at him. They both almost end up fighting, but the referee gives them a technical foul along with a warning. The tip-off begins, and Jingbei gets the ball, but Xingzhe is placed on the bench. They pass around, and the ball goes to Gao Zhan, who is standing under the net. He gets confused for a moment, but finally puts the ball into the net while Xingzhe argues to be put in. Sima manages to steal the ball and makes a three-pointer, but they manage to lock Jingbei down. The opponent takes a bucket after stealing the ball, and in the next play, their tight defense allows them to steal the ball once again before scoring. The ball continues to get stolen from Sima, and Xingzai insists to be put in, while the guy from before who looks like a ninja from China makes fun of him. He goes to the washroom, where Yunmo tells him that he was intervening unnecessarily, but Xingzai tells him that he is a loyal person, so he can't just watch someone act like this. During the game, Duan manages to score against Xuan, but in the next play, Ninja Guy locks him up. The shot clock almost runs out, so Sima shoots, but he misses and the other team gets the rebound. They immediately go on offense and Xuan manages to score. He mocks Jingbei for being trash and tells Xingzai that he is even worse than trash because he is on the bench. Xingzai gets angry, but doesn't lash out, and Teacher Li sees this, so he finally decides to send him into the court. He steps onto the court, and Xuan mocks him again, but Xingzai walks by after ignoring him and scores a bucket as soon as he steps into the court. He takes control of the whole field through his passes and movements, and takes another bucket in the next play. He taunts back at Xuan, and in the next play, he takes the ball from Sima before dribbling it past all the players to make a layup, but passes to Duan at the end, who dunks it on Xuan. Duan also mocks him for yapping too much. In the next play, Xuan pushes Xingzai away while putting his foot behind Xingzai to make him fall. He tries to shoot, but Duan appears out of nowhere and slaps the ball away like it's his mortal enemy. Duan ends up injuring himself by rolling his ankle, and Teacher Li reveals that he won't be able to play the rest of the game now. Xingzai realizes that Xuan deliberately pushed Duan to injure him, which makes him extremely furious. Duan insists that he can still play even though he cannot stop groaning, and he yaps about how they cannot win if he does not play. Xingzai says that he will talk to the ref about how Xuan did it intentionally, but Teacher Li stops him and says that they cannot risk Xingzai getting another foul. Otherwise, they will be left with 4 players if that happens. He tells Duan to sit out the rest of the match, and Sima declares that they will make the opponents pay tenfold for hurting Duan. So Teacher Li asks him how he plans to do that. Sima starts laughing because this was not in his bragging script. And Teacher Li tells them that the most important thing they need to do right now is to stay calm, no matter what the opponent does to them. He starts writing on the strategy board, so they all assume that he must be coming up with a new tactic. He dramatically reveals a big forward arrow which leaves them all confused, so he explains that they need to charge forward like they didn't know that already. The game resumes, so they all step on the court, but they all get shocked when they see that Xuan has been placed on the bench. The opponent tries to use the height difference to pass to the player who is covering Xingzai, but he manages to slap the ball out of the opponent's hand, and the ball goes to Feng, who passes the ball back to Xingzai. The opponents try to catch up to him, but he takes the bucket. Chen An from Jingxi watches from the sidelines and comments that it would not have been so easy if Xuan was still playing. Xuan asks his coach why he won't let him play, so his coach replies that they should act like they are preserving their strength. Xingzai keeps the momentum going and controls the flow of the game using his fast dribbles, along with quick passes, which help his teammates score points. He goes to the sidelines and mocks Xuan for only being able to trash talk, which pisses him off. His coach comments that it must be very infuriating watching some half-baked guys ruining all their efforts, and further says that basketball is such a game in which you get squashed by geniuses the moment you get arrogant. In the next play, the shot clock almost runs out, so the opponent tries to shoot it, but Gao Jian manages to grab it and he throws it towards Xingzai. He accidentally throws it a little too hard, so they all assume that Xingzai will not be able to catch it, but he speeds up and manages to get the bucket. The gap increases to 6 points and the opponent's coach gets very angry. He throws the strategy board onto the ground and yells at his players for playing like they have never once held a basketball in their life. He asks them if they will let all their efforts go to waste and if they have forgotten all the sweat they put in to reach this point. The players recall all the hard training they underwent just because they were not geniuses, and the referee gives him a technical foul for screaming, which gives the boys a free throw. The coach sends Xuan back onto the court, and Feng takes a free throw while Sima tells Xingzhe to be careful, because the opposing players look really fired up after the lecture they just got. Feng manages to score the free throw, and Xuan gets the ball on the next play, but he starts playing dirty again. He pushes Xingzhe forcefully to the side before scoring a bucket, and he manages to steal the ball from Xingzhe in the next play, so he takes the chance to mock him. Xingzhe gets the ball in the next play, but he gets double-teamed and they elbow him in the stomach, which makes him drop the ball. The referee fails to notice the foul, and Xuan takes the ball before passing it to his teammate who scores it. Sima loses the ball in the next play, so Gao Zhan tries to grab it, but he also gets elbowed in the stomach, and Xuan manages to grab it. He runs to the net and hits Feng with an aggressive push, which makes Feng fall to the ground while the ball goes into the net. The referee gives Feng a foul for obstruction along with 2 free throws, so Duan tries to object from the sidelines, but Liao Liao shuts him up before they get another foul. Xuan tells them to let him speak, because he has no other way of venting out his anger as he cannot even play, and he mocks the rest of the Jingbei players by calling them weaklings. The second half soon begins, and Sima gets tired due to all the physical play, so he complains that it's all Teacher Li's fault for not coming up with a proper strategy. He recalls how Teacher Li started drawing dramatically again during the halftime break, and they all got fooled again into thinking that he must be coming up with a new tactic to turn things around. Teacher Li reveals a yin-yang drawing this time, and explains that they must counter magic with magic, but no one understands what he means. He tries to dribble past a player and accidentally trips on his own foot, but the referee gives the opposing player a foul for pushing him. His eyes light up as he finally understands what Teacher Li was trying to tell them and starts faking it on every play to make the opposing team get fouls. The boys finally realize what Teacher Li meant too, and Sima continues to fake it until the opposing players rack up a ton of fouls, so they decide to target someone else. Xuan slightly elbows Gao Zhan in the stomach again, and he does the fake fall, just like Sima, which gives them 2 free throws. Xuan wonders if this is what it's like to play against geniuses, and he wonders why the world needs geniuses. He recalls how he met Yunmo for the first time in middle school, and he immediately turned into Yunmo's biggest fanboy. He even asks Yunmo to teach him, and Yunmo tries to tell him that he was also taught by someone else, but he continues to insist, so Yunmo agrees to it. They start training together every day as Xuan continues to improve under his guidance, and he manages to join the main team. Xuan faces Xingzhe in the court for the 100th time, and smoothly takes the ball under him. Xingzhe tries to stop him, but Xuan jumps back and throws the ball in the basket, which earns him 2 more points. Yunmo recalls how he and Xuan used to play basketball together back in the day, and how they had an unbreakable bond. In the past, Yunmo is just about to score when the opposite team's defender rushes to stop, so Yunmo makes a blind pass to his bestie Xuan, who scores points. Their team Baishi High School wins the match, and later Xuan's teammates encourage him that winning the remaining final match will earn them bonus points for their upcoming entrance exam. They discuss how he and Yunmo will ace the match. But just then, one of their teammates announces that there is some trouble due to which practice has been cancelled too. In the present, Xingzhe dribbles past Xuan, and even though he tries to chase him down, Xingzhe easily scores 2 more points. Xuan recalls that in the past, his teammate got injured, and he requested Yunmo to lend him a hand so that they can win finals, but Yunmo just tells him to stop being a pathetic loser and to win the finals alone. Xuan tells himself on the court that he has to win the match by himself all alone, and he starts playing roughly with Xingzhe. Xingzhe tells him that he is used to rough street play, but Xuan ruthlessly pushes against him as he rushes towards his basket. Xuan then jumps in the air and pushes Xingzhe down as he scores points. He gets a foul, and everyone else rushes to Xingzhe's side, who is down on the floor. The others discuss that Xuan isn't even playing basketball at this stage, and that he needs to be ejected from the game for acting like a constipated man. The referees discuss what they should do, and just then, Xingzhe gets up. He tells everyone that the fall was his own fault, so nobody needs to be kicked out of the game, and Liao Liao drags him to the bench. She asks him simple maths questions to check whether he is alright, and he teases her for worrying too much. The referees announce that it was just a normal foul, and Xingze walks back to the court while Liao Liao notices that there is blood on Xingze's towel. The match resumes, and this time, Xingze goes on beast mode as he scores points after points. Xuan tries with all his effort to best him, but Xingze completely ignores his existence and keeps scoring with the help of his teammates. Xuan wonders why he is losing even though he worked the hardest, and soon the match ends with Jingbei Hai as the winner. After the match, everybody celebrates while Xingze goes to Xuan and tells him that he doesn't have any excuse to push people around no matter what happened in the past. Xuan calls him crazy, especially for not dodging his rough moves, and the other Jingbei members push each other around as they have fun. Meanwhile, the other team starts arguing between one another after losing like a bunch of pathetic losers. Later, everybody goes out to eat meat on Teacher Li's treat, and Xingze tells the others that he is actually right-handed, but the reason he plays left-hand layups is because his childhood friend taught him. Liao Liao scolds the others for eating like a bunch of pigs, and Duan tells Sima that the team will lose its next match against Yihei High School without him, so he needs to recover fast. They start fooling around, and Xingze declares that they won't lose the next match because Yunmo is joining them. Yunmo doesn't agree to this, and Teacher Li hands him his own official team jersey, which has the number 8 on it. He tells him to just join the team once and for all, and Guanxin reveals that she remembers his junior high jersey number, which she told the others. Yunmo remains deep in thought while the others around him keep fooling around. Later, Xuan is practicing basketball by himself when Yunmo joins him. Yunmo shows off by throwing a shot from a distance, and he tells him that he later got to know that Xuan missed his chance to enter a prestigious school because of their last match. He seems apologetic, but Xuan rushes him and grabs his shirt. He tells him that he doesn't care that he lost the match, and he always wanted to become like him, but the more he played, the more he realized that he could never reach his level. He recalls how his coach told him after the match that he was just a useless, groveling worm who couldn't do anything. Xuan then begins crying like a huge wuss as he confesses that he really wanted to win the gold medal in their last tournament together. After crying for 10 years, he grabs his bag and heads out, but just before leaving, he tells Yunmo that he better continue playing basketball to show everyone else that boys like them are not foolish after all. Xingze practices shooting baskets by himself while Gaojian tends to all of his needs. He cleans the court after he is done, and even gives him a water bottle without asking, so Xingze asks him whether he needs money. Gaojian pretends to be all innocent, but he then spills that he needs to go to a carnival in which Xingyu is performing, and that he couldn't get the tickets in time, so he needs his help to get tickets. Xingze starts to walk away because he doesn't want to bother with him, and Gaojian tells him that Jingxi's players are coming as well. Xingze notices that the poster he is holding contains Feng's picture, so he agrees to help him out, since he is Feng's #1 fangirl. They both soon go to the carnival along with Yunmo and his pipsqueak brother, where Gaojian keeps fangirling over every single thing. Soon, Xingyu's performance begins, in which she dances along with a couple of other girls, and Gaojian loses his mind. Even Yunmo enjoys the performance, and after it ends, it gets announced that the player who can make 10 top accurate basketball shots will get a chance to get a gift from Xingyu along with a picture with her. Gaojian starts calculating how he can win, and Xingze advises him to convince Yunmo to score some points. They both fail to convince Yunmo, and Xingze decides to compete first, just to flex his skills. He makes shot after another, but only one of his shots goes through the basketball hoop. Gaojian gets the idea that he should put little Pai Shu on his shoulders to make shots to win this chance. He uses this idea, and Pai Shu ends up scoring one shot, but the commentator then tells him that it's against the rules to allow piggybacking. Xingze and Gaojian protest against the unfair rules, and to convince Yunmo to try out, Gaojian tells him that he will hold Pishu hostage if he doesn't participate. Pishu decides to help them out, and he starts acting like he is really struggling. Yunmo finally agrees to participate, and he steps forward to compete. He ends up scoring one shot after another, and soon he scores 10 goals. Everybody celebrates that a hot young dude has beaten the high score, while Yunmo wonders whether he can go now and use the restroom. Just when he's walking away, a cocky-looking player called Xiang walks up to him. The commentator tells him that guests will be called later on the stage, but he doesn't give him any attention. Instead, he states that he should also participate, especially if it's a shooting contest. He orders the commentator to start the timer, and the contest begins to shoot 10 baskets within 30 seconds. Much to everyone's surprise, he waits for 15 seconds to pass, and afterwards, he quickly makes long court three-pointer shots one after another. All of his shots go inside quickly one after another, and after throwing the last ball, he smoothly turns around. He tells the commentator that he doesn't need any prize, rather he was just warming up, and the crowd goes wild with the announcement that Xiang has broken the high score too. Xiang tells the commentator that he is warmed up so he should start the next segment, and the commentator tells Yunmo to come to the stage to fetch his prize. Yunmo walks away to use the restroom, leaving Gaojian behind with Xingze, and just then, Gaojian announces that he also has to use the restroom. He goes away, and at the same time Yunmo notices a player walking backstage. He learns that the player is actually Cheng Feng, which gets his panties twisted in a bunch, and just then, Xingze gets the chance to have his picture taken with his sister. Xingyu teases him about being a fanboy while he endures the humiliation. Their picture gets taken, and he then gives the signed picture to Gaojian, who starts crying like a loser. The commentator then announces the next session, in which top-level national players from every school would be joining them to play a small match against each other. He introduces each player one by one, and finally he introduces the star player who took everyone by surprise during the last tournament. Everyone welcomes Cheng Feng with wild cheers as he smoothly walks on the stage, and even Xingze goes crazy over him. Yunmo exits the venue by himself, and soon the match between the star players begins. Xiang faces Feng at the center of the court and tells him that he has been waiting to take revenge on him, but Feng doesn't remember who he is. Xiang then makes a three-pointer shot from the center of the court and taunts Feng about how he hasn't recently played any matches. Feng comments that he must be really scared of him if he is not chewing his usual bubblegum, and he then goes beast mode as he pushes through the court. He passes everyone without passing the ball to anyone, and he jumps to dunk the ball. Yunmo recalls that back when he was in Baishi, he would play games with Feng, but soon he got into a mess due to him as well. When he asked Feng about it, Feng simply said that he is not obligated to explain anything to him. Currently, Feng's team wins the match with an 18 points lead, and he tells Xian that his play style is too cocky. As he is leaving, he notices Xingze in the crowd, and they both greet each other after a long time. Later they meet up and exchange numbers. Xingze tells him how he got to know that Feng isn't in Jingxi anymore, and Feng promises to meet him at the national stage. Gaojian tells Sima about Xingyu being Xingze's sister, and he loses his non-existent balls over this fact. They all discuss their next opponent, Yihei High School, and Gaojian tells them about a world-infamous player, Xiang Tu, who used to be the Big G back in the day. He tells the boys that his son Xiang is actually in Yihei High, and the others think that they can easily beat Xiang Jr., especially since they have Yunmo on their team. They recall that Yunmo arrives for practice on time, and all the other girls lose their minds over him, while at the same time, whenever Sima is practicing, he makes some blunder that pisses off Liao Liao. Sima then gets into a fight with the boys because they refuse to order pancakes for his fatso butt, and he chases after them to steal their pancake instead. The match day arrives in which Sima fights with Pishu for not giving him ice cream, and Liao Liao smacks his head for only thinking about food. The boys tell each other that they can win the match, and they even do a huddle around Duan, who is still injured for good luck's sake. Liao Liao notices that there are unusually a lot of spectators, and Gaojian tells her about Xiang, who is in Yihei's team. She thinks that they cannot win against Xiang, and Pishu reminds everyone that their team has the genius Yunmo. The Yihei High School's players arrive at the court, and the boys think the huge player with the strong muscular build is Xiang. But in reality, the skinny-looking guy beside him chewing bubblegum is Xiang. Xingze recognizes him from the carnival, but he still cannot believe that he is the infamous Xiang, who is the son of a legendary player. Xiang even shows him his ID card to prove that he is actually his son, but the boys still remain doubtful of him. Soon, Yunmo joins them, and Xiang remembers him from the carnival, but Yunmo doesn't seem to remember his existence at all. He even thinks another player might be Xiang, and once again, Xiang shows him his ID card to prove that he is the real Xiang. He starts to get carried off, but he reminds himself that he will show all these players that he is the real G. The match begins in which Gao Zhan faces Zhang, who was previously mistaken for being Xiang, and to everyone's surprise, even though Gao Zhan is much taller than his opponent, Zhang retrieves the ball and passes it to his teammate. The ball is passed along to Xiang next, who tells Xingzhe to keep his eyes on him. He then jumps back and makes a three-pointer shot from the center of the court, surprising everyone. He even turns his back after making the shot because he thinks that his shot will go inside, but the ball touches the rim and starts to fall outwards. Suddenly, Zhang rushes to make a rebound and dunks the ball inside, which earns them a point. Up next, Sima asks Yunmo to pass him the ball, but Yunmo instead jumps and makes a three-pointer shot from a long distance, which earns the team 3 points. The ladies in the audience lose their crap over Yunmo, and up next Xingzhe faces Xiang once again. Xiang throws a petty taunt at him and even manages to break through him. He then throws a three-pointer shot, and Zhang notices that the shot might not go in, so he rushes towards the basket for a rebound. He retrieves the ball and passes it to another player who makes a successful shot. Yunmo gets the ball next, and he makes a feint as he passes the ball to Xingzhe. He then makes a difficult shot which ends up going in the basket, and the team earns 2 more points. Yunmo warns the team that Zhang might be Yihei team's actual core player, and Xiang becomes angry to hear this, so he rushes in to make another failed shot. Gao Zhan retrieves his failed shot, but somehow, Zhang steps in and steals the ball again. He makes a brilliant pass to another teammate who scores 2 more points. Yunmo then scores again, and Teacher Lee comments that it's good to have him on the team, especially since Duan is injured as well. At the court, Zhang comments that they start to get serious, and Xiang calls him Coach Tai, which makes Xingzhe wonder whether Zhang is the coach of the team as well as the player. He notices that the team doesn't actually have any coach, and Xiang makes an excuse to him that their coach is having hemorrhoid surgery. Zhang scores another shot, and the team decides to change its strategy by blocking Zhang rather than focusing on Xiang. Both teams score point after point, and neither one doesn't let the other one lead too much. Duan comments that they need a tiebreaker, and just then, Zhang attempts to make another feint shot by passing the ball sneakily to his teammate. Xingzhe intercepts his pass and steals the ball away from him. He rushes to the other side, and at the last second he passes the ball to Yunmo, who scores a goal. The team finally gets a lead of 4 points, and Xingzhe yells out aloud that they can win the match. They continue to ride the momentum as the gap increases to 5 points, and he dribbles past a few players before jumping towards the net, but 2 defenders block his path, so he passes to Yunmo at the last second. Xiang jumps up in front of Yunmo, assuming that he will try to shoot it, but Yunmo does a feint before shooting a three-pointer, which goes into the net. Xiang gets the ball in the next play, so he tries to dribble past Xingzhe, and the ball slips out of hand, but he manages to grab it again. He tries to pass it to Zhang, but Yunmo intercepts it and rushes to the net as Zhang follows him closely, but he suddenly stops, which makes Zhang go past him. He uses the gap to easily score a three-pointer, and Xingzhe asks him to teach him how to shoot, which makes him recall the last time he saw Xingzhe shoot, so he tells him to give up on that idea. Xingzhe tries to butter him up to make him agree, but Yunmo does not budge. Zhang tells Xiang to start playing seriously now, because the Jingbei team is not as bad as they took it to be, and Xiang replies that it wouldn't be any fun if they were actually that bad. He tries to dribble past Xingzhe and almost manages to break away, but he slips at the last moment, which gives the ball to Xingzhe. He quickly passes it forward to Yunmo, and 2 defenders run after him, but he does not stop this time and jumps up to do a layup. The 2 defenders also jump to block his path, but he switches hands at the last moment to score the bucket, and the gap increases to 13 points. Liao Liao rejoices and talks about how the match is going much better than they expected. The halftime break starts while Xiang waits for his teammates to pick him up, but they totally ignore him, and Xingzhe notices Feng watching them from the sidelines. He quickly calls out his name before running to him, and Yunmo suddenly gets angry while hearing Gaojian explain that Feng was the guy that taught Xingzhe basketball, who he always talks about. Yunmo recalls all the times Xingzhe talked about Feng without mentioning his name, and Feng tells Xingzhe that he was nearby, so he decided to drop by for a bit. He says that Xingzhe has improved a lot since the last time they met, and Xingzhe says that it's all thanks to his teammates. He invites Feng to come meet them, but Feng rejects his offer before revealing that he needs to leave early because he has something to do, so he will meet them the next time. He advises Xingzhe to keep an eye on Xiang before walking out, so Xingzhe goes back to the bench where he explains to Sima that he reconnected with Feng at the carnival and learned that Feng had joined a school called Beihai, which leaves everyone speechless. Sima explains that Beihai is an extremely prestigious college that is affiliated with Beihai College, which is the #1 college in the whole nation, and they recruit the best high school players by offering them a guaranteed spot at Beihai College. He further reveals that they have won most of the recent national high school basketball leagues, but it's also the school that beat Jingxi during the semifinals last year. Xingzhe finally realizes why all the players at Jingxi hated him so much, and Yunmo goes to teacher Li before asking him to sub him out for the rest of the game because he has something very urgent to do. He starts walking away, so Xingzhe tries to ask him about what's wrong, but he ignores him. Xingzhe continues to ask, so he slaps the bottle out of Xingzhe's hand before yelling at him to get out of the way, which surprises everyone. His mom suddenly appears, and Xingzhe recalls how she is against Yunmo playing basketball, so he steps forward to request her to let him play, but Yunmo pins him against the wall. He yells at him to stop telling people what to do, so Xingzhe tries to explain himself, but Yunmo says that it has nothing to do with him, and that he is also very selfish, because he just needs people to win the match for him. He leaves the court after saying that, and the second half soon starts, but Xingzhe remains zoned out. Xiang easily breaks past him, and he takes a shot which again misses, so Zhang takes the rebound before passing it back to Xiang, who attempts another shot, but it manages to go in this time after bouncing off the rim. Sima tries to pass the ball to Xingzhe, but he does not notice, so the ball hits him, and Xiang manages to grab it before instantly scoring again. Xingzhe recalls what Yunmo said to him, and he declares that he will win without Yunmo, so he starts dribbling very quickly before breaking past Xiang. He runs to the net and makes a layup before telling Xiang that the gap is back to double digits now, but Xiang scores back in the next play, which brings it back to single digits. A competition between the two starts, and they keep scoring one after another as the gap alternates between single and double digits. But Xiang suddenly breaks through this stalemate by scoring a three-pointer. In the past, Xiang too practices with his teammates while showing off the power of his huge body, and the 5-year-old Xiang gets completely mesmerized by his father's playing style. He tries to imitate it while playing with his friends, but he immediately falls down after bumping against his friend due to his weak body. The adults playfully laugh at him while the kids tease him for pretending to be his father even though he is so weak, but he takes it to heart and decides that he will grow big like his father soon. In the present, Xingzhe jumps up to take a layup, but he gets pinned, so he switches hands at the last moment before throwing the ball into the net from under it. He tells Xiang that the gap is back to double digits now, and Zhang tells Xiang to remain calm because Xingzhe will not be able to score like this over and over again, but Xiang asks him to give him the ball every single time. In the past, the 7-year-old Xiang Tu plays in a match, and all the spectators are shocked by how the smallest kid on the court is the giant Xiang Tu's son. Xiang gets outplayed by every single other kid due to his small size, and the kids mock him for being so bad, while the adults pity him for not having inherited his father's genes. He decides to fill up the gap of his small body by making his shooting better, which he practices day and night for years, no matter the weather or the time, and he soon gets very good at it. In the present, Xingzhe notices that something about Xiang has suddenly changed, and Xiang asks him to guess whether he will try a 2-pointer or a 3-pointer this time. Like every rude person, he does not even wait for Xingzhe to guess, and suddenly takes a shot from a meter behind the 3-point line, which goes into the net. His teammate tells Sima that they cannot win anymore, and explains that the chewing gum in Xiang's mouth has disappeared, which means that he has gotten serious now. Xingzhe gets the ball in the next play, and Xiang reminds him that the gap is 7 points now, so he will need to score a 3-pointer too, this time to make it double digits again. He tries to dribble past Xiang, but he gets double teamed as the shot clock almost runs out, so he quickly takes a shot, but the ball does not go into the net. Zhang grabs it and throws it to Xiang, who has already gone to the other side, so Xingzhe runs after him, but Xiang suddenly takes a step back before making another 3-pointer. A person wearing a patient's clothes walks through the crowd while holding his IV, and the gap between the two teams comes down to 4. Teacher Li remarks that the opposing team has already realized that Xingzhe's weakness is his unsteady throwing, which is going to make it harder for him to score now. 2 years in the past, Xiang and Zhang face off against each other from opposite teams, as Xiang's team is losing miserably, and Zhang scores multiple times using his huge body. So a scout mistakes the huge Zhang as Xiangtu's son, but another coach tells him that he is wrong. The coach reveals that Zhang's mother was once the best shooter in the whole of Beijing, while Zhang takes a shot himself, but it completely misses the net, and the coach explains that he did not inherit the slightest of her genes. He reveals that Xiangtu's actual son is the small kid on the other team, and Xiang misses another shot while his teammates ask him to stop trying it. He tries to defend, but the opponent easily brushes past him, and the scout remains speechless. Xiang tries to shoot a few more times, but not a single one goes into the net, and even the scout questions if Xiang being Xiangtu's son is some kind of mistake. The coach reassures him that he really is his son, and asks the scout what he has been writing down in his notebook, so the scout explains that he was hoping to scout a kid with good potential, but he has yet to find one. Zhang gets another bucket, and with 5 minutes left in the match, Xiang's teammates begin to lose hope due to the large gap in points, but Xiang does not give in the last. The scout almost leaves, but he hears Xiang trying to motivate his teammates, which makes him stop, and Xiang manages to steal the ball before attempting a 3-pointer, which goes in. Xiang manages to steal another ball, but only Zhang still gives it his all from the opposing team while his teammates lays around, and he chases after Xiang, who makes another 3-pointer. Zhang also scores back, but Xiang goes off too, and the match turns into an intense one-on-one battle between the two, as all the other players stop trying. Xiang continues to use his body against Zhang, despite the size difference, and the match ends, but the two don't stop playing until the ball finally falls to the ground, after Zhang slaps it away. In the present, Xiang makes another 3-pointer, which brings the gap down to 1, and their team celebrates, and the patient approaches them while holding his IV. In the past, after the match ended, while peeing, Zhang's teammates joke about how Zhang and Xiang are the same because they both were not able to inherit their parents' genes. They joke about how Zhang cannot shoot, and how Xiang might not be Xiangtu's real son, but Xiang hears all this from inside the washroom stall, which makes him furious. He's about to kick the door when Zhang comes out of another stall and his teammates get embarrassed, so they quickly leave. Xiang also comes out of his stall, and they are both about to leave when the scout yells at them to stop from inside another stall. He introduces himself as the Coach Chen of the Yihei basketball team and invites the two to join the newly built Yihei basketball team. In the present, Coach Chen appears in front of them, straight from the hospital after his hemorrhoids operation. So like every normal, Xiang asks him if his butt is okay. Chen tells him to stop worrying about his butt, and that he is happy to see them trusting each other so much because they are unbeatable the way they currently are. Xingzhe attempts to score, but Zhang retrieves the ball at the end, and he notices his coach standing at a side with his legs trembling. The Yihei players pass the ball among themselves, and Xingzhe runs after the ball like a headless chicken. Zhang then uses a screening move to pass the ball to Xiang, who jumps in the air and throws the ball towards the basket. He earns the 3 points, and Yihei High takes the lead as a result. The set ends with Yihei High as the winner, since they have a 2 points lead, and during the break, Guan offers to substitute in despite his injury. The others tell him to shut up, and Liao Liao motivates the boys that they can take the lead. The last set begins, and Xingzhe tries hard to score a basket, but he fails again and again and again, like a pathetic loser. At the same time, Zhang beats Gao Zhan by stealing the ball right under his nose, and he sneakily makes a pass to Xiong, who scores a 2-pointer basket. The points gap between the two teams keeps widening, and when Sima gets the ball, Xingze yells at him to pass the ball to him. Sima tells him to get his head in the game, and he passes the ball to him. Yihei's coach thinks about how passionate Xiong is about basketball, even if he seems careless and aloof on the surface. Xingze tries to pass around Xiong, but Xiong steals the ball right from under his hand. Xingze starts to chase after him, but suddenly, Xiong stops and jumps in the air. He then throws a 3-pointer from the middle of the court, which ends up going in the basket, and their team starts to celebrate. Soon, the match ends with Yihei High as the winner, and the Jingbei boys tell each other that they will surely win the next match, while Zhang and Xiong carry their coach. They tease him about his butt condition, and he feels at the top of the world after winning. Everyone soon leaves the court, but Xingze remains seated on the bench, and he tells his team to leave him alone for a while. When the court is empty, he starts to cry, and Guanxin joins him to tell him about Yunmo's past. She tells him that Xuan, Feng, and Yunmo used to be teammates in Baishi Junior School team, in which Feng was both their senior, while she was also a third year with them who used to be in student council. He asks her to share what happened in the past, so she shares that they had won the semifinals and that they needed one more win to become the top team in the city. In the past, before the finals, the vice principal visits the boys' locker room and congratulates them on doing such a good job. He tells them that they will all get bonus points for high school entrance exams if they win, and then Guanxin distributes new jerseys and shoes to all the players. Their final opponent turns out to be a loser team, which they have already beaten before, so they don't worry a lot. But 2 days before the finals, somebody reports a picture to the school management which shows Yunmo playing a street court basketball game. His coach scolds him since such games are not allowed, and the vice principal asks him to submit an apology, but Yunmo doesn't listen to any of them. He gets a verbal warning, and he decides to leave the team before the last match. In the present, Guanxin tells Xingze that the street court game involves betting, due to which there was so much strictness, and that after Yunmo quit the game, he didn't go to any street court for the whole year. She tells him that Yunmo is still willing to return to the court after so much trouble, so he should forgive him and not be so strict with him. She tells him to cheer up as well and walks away. The next day, Xingze avoids his teammates like they are some kind of plague. Sima spots him between classes, so he runs away from him, and when Gao Zhan notices him in the cafeteria, he takes his food and runs out of the cafe. Afterwards, while the boys are practicing, they discuss that Xingze is abiding them, and Gao Zhan comments that he must be facing trauma response, due to which he cannot face any of his teammates. He even proposes to go to his home to cheer him up, while he thinks that he can meet his sister there. Liao Liao throws a ball at him, which knocks him down, and almost obliterates his sacks as well. She yells at everyone to stop slacking, so they get back to practice while she wonders where Xingze is. At his home, Xingze mopes around like a hormonal teenager, and he takes out a bird brooch from his cupboard. The next day, he goes to Xuan's school and meets up with him. He and Xuan sit down to eat at a cafe, and Xuan asks him what he wants from him. Xingze comments that he cannot believe that Yunmo would ever bet for a game, and he asks him to tell him the truth. Xuan tells him that he did injure one of his teammates, so his mistrust is valid. However, he then asks him whether he is blaming him for the street court or whether he already knows the truth. In the past, when Xuan and Yunmo meet up again, Yunmo tells Xuan that he never played in any street court game, and Xuan tells him that he already knows that it was Feng who was actually betting and playing in such games. Yunmo plays cello at his home like a forsaken maiden, and he recalls how before the final match in junior high, Feng told him that it's his last match with him. Feng then gave him his own jersey as a gift, and they both exchanged their jerseys. Soon, somebody took a picture of Feng playing a street court game, but since he was wearing Yunmo's jersey, Yunmo was framed instead. Afterwards, when Yunmo asked him for an explanation, Feng simply told him that he is not bound to explain anything to him. After he left the team, He then enlisted for a cello competition, and while his team was struggling to win the final match, he was giving his final cello performance to some judges. Xuan taunts Xingzhe that he already seems to know the truth, but he just cannot believe it, and he then walks away after telling him to pay for his food too. Xingzhe walks out in the streets, and he recalls how different players made comments to him about Feng. He remembers when Yunmo accused him of being just like Feng, and he then texts Feng to meet up with him. He recalls that in the past, Feng told him that he wanted to reach a very high position, and when Xingzhe fangirled over him, he gifted an eagle toy to him. Feng meets up with Xingzhe and tells him that he was playing in a corporate league game. They both go to a park, where he tells Xingzhe that he can't officially play in a match for 1 year after switching schools due to high school regulations. Xingzhe asks him why he even switched schools, and he explains that he wants results, which he can only get in Beihai School rather than Jingxi High School. Xingzhe then tells him that his team lost the recent match and that Yunmo walked out of the game in the second half. Feng pretends to know Yunmo, and he even asks him how he is, so Xingzhe takes the chance and asks him whether he was the one who played the unofficial game in middle school. Feng immediately accepts that he was the culprit, and he recalls how he got to the street court back in the day and how he wore the white jersey even though he didn't want to. After he won the match organizer sent him the betting money and left him on his own. Feng tells Xingzhe that Yunmo shouldered everything on his own, even though he didn't ask him to, and he asks him to give him his balancing eagle toy that he gave him in the past. He takes the toy and then asks him why he has come all the way to Beijing. Before he can get an answer, he starts yapping about how everyone else can go and play other sports, but he only has basketball to himself, and he wants to reach even higher due to this reason. He tells him to grow up, and even sprouts come crap about being an adult. He then walks away while Xingzhe remains deep in thought. The Jingbei team keeps up their practice routine, and Liao Liao worries about Xingzhe, so teacher Li assures her that Xingzhe just needs some time on his own. Xingzhe arrives home, and he gloomily walks to his room without paying any attention to his sister. Yunmo also gloomily eats food with his mother, and he ignores her when she offers him some more of his favorite food. Instead, he walks back to his room to study more. The days pass on as the Jingbei team keeps practicing, but Xingzhe doesn't join them, and Yunmo also stays away from them. One time Xingzhe is in school when Liao Liao spots him, and he runs away from her. She follows him into the town, but he soon runs inside a cafe to get away from her, and she loses track of him. He then comes across Gaojian and Sima inside the cafe, and once more he tries to run away from them, but Guan blocks him from leaving. Yunmo discovers that his mom has left his basketball on the table with a note telling him to prepare his dinner by himself. The team surrounds Xingzhe, and he tells them that he cannot return to the team yet. They all tell him one by one that they are also responsible for their loss, but he refuses to listen to any of them. Liao Liao then assures him that they will all be waiting for him whenever he returns, and Guan calls her cheesy. Yunmo practices basketball by himself like a Sigma Chad, and he remains deep in thought. Just then, Xingzhe also arrives at the court to talk to him. He keeps calling out to Yunmo, but gets ignored again and again. Finally, Yunmo asks him why he has come, and he explains that he wants to clear things with him. He tells him that he knows about his middle school past, and that he wasn't involved in the street court game, but was framed for it. He then starts ranting about how he shouldn't have shouldered such a burden, and Yunmo asks him whether he had any choice. Xingzhe defends Feng by explaining that he wasn't always like that, and that he gave him a lot of courage back in the day. So Yunmo asks him whether he has come to clear Feng's image only. Xingzhe tells him that he doesn't think there is a clear right or wrong, and that everything has become really complicated, so Yunmo asks him the meaning of basketball. When Xingzhe doesn't answer, he taunts him that people like him only care about winning, due to which they don't care much about basketball. He starts to walk away, so Xingzhe steals the ball from him and tells him that he isn't such a kind of person. He tells him that basketball was supposed to be fun, and when Yunmo tries to steal his ball back, he quickly moves away from him. He explains that Yunmo never seems to smile when he is playing basketball, and that he won't force him to come back to the team. He then challenges him to a one-on-one game, and that if Yunmo wins the game, he will leave him alone and never come back for him. He passes the ball to Yunmo, who asks him how many points he wants to compete for, and he tells him that he can make the choice. Yunmo taunts him that he can never win, and Jingzai announces that they will compete till one of them can give up. Their mini-game begins in which both of them go head-to-head against each other, and Yunmo easily scores the first point. He scores another point after that, and Jingzai asks him why he won't make an effort to play basketball when he is so good at playing. Yunmo, in return, asks him to stop preaching, and he takes the ball, but Jingzai immediately steals the ball away from him. He tells him to stop lying to himself, and he reminds him how he used to watch all of his games in secret, and how he would practice basketball by himself all alone. Yunmo tells him to mind his own business, and in return, Jingzai reminds him that he was the one who dragged him to find Feng, due to which he had to remember his past. Yunmo tells him that nothing matters to him, since he won't be touching the basketball ever again after their match, and Jingzai gets triggered, so he rushes ahead with the ball. He scores the basketball and asks him what basketball means to him if he can quit so easily. He even throws the ball at him and asks him to get past him if wants to quit so badly. Yunmo takes the chance and tries to get past Jingzai. He then steps back to throw a three-pointer, but Jingzai also jumps in time and touches the ball, due to which his shot fails. Jingzai rushes towards the basket and makes a throw-in shot, due to which their score gets tied at 2 points. Yunmo scores another point next, and once again, Jingzai makes a throw-in shot, which earns him another point and ties the score. Yunmo gets the ball next, and he steps back when Jingzai rushes to steal it. Jingzai taunts him that he only knows how to hide and that he is running away just like his middle school. Yunmo then jumps in the air to make a three-pointer shot, and once again, Jingzai tips it with his finger, due to which the ball does not go in the basket. They both go toe-to-toe, and when Jingzai tries to score next, Yunmo blocks him by jumping against him. Jingzai falls to the floor instead, and as Yunmo starts to walk away, he asks him whether he will really run away this time, just like always. Yunmo thinks that he has a right to choose how he wants to play basketball, and Jingzai asks him why he won't respect his own passion. He then starts whining about how he first came to Beijing to join Jingshi High for Feng's sake, but he ended up staying in Jingshi High instead, due to the Sima, Duan, Liao Liao, and teacher Li, who all loved basketball in their own way. He calls him the most dramatically stubborn person he has ever met, and he tells him that he has even thought about quitting his team after losing against Yihei High School. He thinks about how Feng told him that he should grow up, and he tells Yunmo that they should show Feng how to play properly by going against him. He throws down the eagle toy that Feng gave him and yells at Yunmo to join him to show Feng the real basketball. Yunmo turns around and asks him to resume their game. They continue playing against each other, and Jingzai shares his pea-brain's wisdom that he finally knows what basketball means to him. He explains that he still wants to win, but now he wants to win with everyone else. He also tells him that he shouldn't have compared him to Feng, who is really selfish and vain, and that he simply only wants to play basketball with him. They both keep playing till the rain stops, and finally the sun comes out. Afterwards, they both lay collapsed on the floor, and they argue against each other about who was the winner of the match, and about the rules and whatnot. And so Team Jingbei finally comes back together as Jingzai comes out of his slump, and Yunmo finally puts aside his past so they can play basketball together. But is that all it takes for them to go till the end? Or will they fall down early before reaching the final? Comment your thoughts below, and make sure to like and subscribe the channel for more.